Professor Claudia, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to the TAP Transatlantic Platform webinar on our RRR call. And I am from FAPESP, and I have the pleasure to introduce our scientific director, Professor Luiz Eugenio Mello. Professor Luiz Eugenio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Claudia. And as already said, good morning, good afternoon, good night to you all. It's a pleasure having you here today with us as we have this seminar of the Transatlantic Platform on Recovery, Renewal, and Resilience in a post-pandemic world. We could even add the word research here because, of course, we are here to discuss a call for research projects on the post-pandemic world. There are many topics which we don't know. There are many opportunities which we may take advantage of the current crisis and shape the new world in a different manner from what has been the world prior to the pandemic. For FAPESP, it's a great honor having you all here, and we hope that this call, by its collaborative nature, as all of the calls of the Transatlantic Platform have been, can allow an engagement of researchers in both sides of the Atlantic for us to better understand what's the common grounds that we may find for a different world. So with that, I pass the word back to you, Claudia.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to Dr. Ted Hewitt from SSHRC. Thank you very much for coming to Brazil.
Thanks, Claudia. I wish I could, but obviously I have to say good day to everybody. Bonjour from springtime in Canada to all of our researchers and top colleagues from across the Americas, Europe, and now Africa. So I want to thank you all for participating today. As Luiz Mello had said, it's great to have you here. I want to thank especially our colleagues from FAPESP for organizing this webinar today. I know there are going to be lots of questions and hopefully lots of answers so that we can maximize your engagement in this latest top call. It's a very special call for us. As you know, we've launched several in the past. This one has very special meaning given the pandemic, the critical importance of finding ways for us to better deal with the impact of the pandemic and find our way to a much better place. And I think this is also extremely important to recognize how our work and how your work funded through the platform will demonstrate the critical importance of research in social sciences and humanities towards dealing and addressing these issues. So I want to wish everybody a great webinar. I know it's going to be an awesome event, and Claudia, you're a fantastic host. So thank you again to all for putting this together, and good luck as you work through the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Hewitt. I'm sorry you cannot be here. We are all sorry you cannot all be here. And now I give the floor to Manija Kamal, who speak on behalf of ESRC. Manija, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Claudia. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. I'm very pleased to welcome you to this opening of this important webinar. My name is Manija Kamal. I am a Senior Manager for International Strategy in the Economic and Social Research Council, which is part of the UK Research and Innovation. We are coordinating the Transatlantic platform alongside our colleagues from the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada in the Sao Paulo Research Foundation. We are very grateful to our colleagues from the Sao Paulo Research Foundation, particularly to Professor Claudia Medeiros for hosting this webinar today. We, as the part of the Transatlantic Platform family, are very proud to be able to offer the first multilateral funding opportunity on the medium and long-term societal effects of the COVID-19 for the social sciences and humanities community, involving 16 major funders from 12 countries. COVID-19 and its societal implications raise enormous questions about the economy, about the governance, future of work, environment, health, education, communication, and much, much more. And we firmly believe that the humanities and social sciences have a vast amount to contribute to resolving the massive challenges arising out of COVID-19 pandemic and to create a more sustainable post-pandemic recovery. And we hope that the recovery, renewal, and resilience in a post-pandemic world call for proposals is generating excellent research that contributes to a more equitable, resilient, and sustainable future for all of us. So thanks very much, and I'm really looking forward to today's webinar, and thanks for taking the time to join us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manija, and please continue on to present TAP to all of us.
Great. So I'm very grateful to our colleague Roberto from FAPESP, who is basically managing the slides. And so sorry, what I need to. Okay. So what I will do, I will provide a very brief overview on the Transatlantic platform and aiming to answer 2 questions. Please, next slide, please. Next slide, slide number 2, please. Number 2. Oh, well, I think, no, sorry, you need to restart again, if it's possible.
A little while, Manija, please.
No, don't worry, don't worry. So what I can do, I can just start and without the slides, maybe. So again, I'm aiming to answer 2 questions. What is the Transatlantic platform called TAP, and what are the key activities of TAP? So TAP is a global first and a transatlantic research funding cooperation formed in October 2013. TAP is a collaboration between key humanities and social science funding organizations in South America, North America, and Europe. And never before have research funders in the Americas, in Europe, embarked on a collaboration of this scale. TAP mission is to enhance the ability of funders, research organizations, and researchers to engage in transnational dialogue and collaboration. The key aims of the Transatlantic platform are to enhance and facilitate high quality transatlantic research networks and programs related to social sciences and humanities, the so-called SSH, to promote interdisciplinary SSH research on topics of medium and long-term interest, and to share knowledge and good practices. Oh, would you mind just to to go to slide number 5. Yes, another slide, please. Yes, and then yes. So that was the aims, and please click on the other slide, please. Exactly. Thank you. TAP is consisting of 17 major research funding organizations from South America, North America, and Europe. It is a diverse platform bringing together humanities as well as social sciences funders. Because of lack of time, I'm not reading out the full list of the TAP members. The list is available on the TAP website. I encourage you to have a look. Next slide, please. With regard to TAP key activities, please note that the platform is undertaking 2 types of activities. First and foremost, TAP is developing and offering research calls for the SSH community in areas of strong potential for international collaboration. And secondly, TAP is enhancing the collaboration among funding organizations to align their policies and practices, which then contribute to facilitate international collaboration and SSH. Next slide, please. I mentioned before that developing and offering calls for research is one of the key activities of TAP. And please note that TAP established a practice of inviting non-TAP members to join research calls. And since its inception, we launched 3 research calls. So in March 2016, we launched the Digging into Data Challenge. The call aimed to support research projects that use big data to address questions in social sciences and humanities. 14 international teams with members from at least 3 countries on both sides of the Atlantic have been successful to secure funding under the Digging into Data Challenge. Please, next slides. In October 2018, we launched the 2nd research call on social innovation. This call aimed to add value to our understanding of social innovation and deliver social innovations through new research. 10 international teams with members from at least 3 countries on both sides of the Atlantic have been successful to secure funding under the social innovation call. Next slide, please. Last but not least, we launched in April this year the COVID-19 related research call on recovery, renewal, and resilience in a post-pandemic world, which is, of course, subject of today's webinar. So next slide, please. And before handing over to Professor Claudia, I just want to say thank you very much for listening. For further information, please visit our TAP website, and please feel free to get in touch if you have any additional question and comments. So thanks again, Claudia. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Manija, for this a very good introduction to the Transatlantic platform. And now I'd like to ask all of you present from the funders to open your cameras so that the audience can see all of you. And I have to read from a paper because there are 16 funders present here. And maybe you can, wave your hand or something. So for the audience and for those who watch the video, you are seeing the faces of people who are going to answer your questions. They are behind these emails and they are behind the architecture. I should say we are behind the whole call. So of course, I'll start by Luiz Mello, our scientific director. FAPESP is Luiz Mello. It's me, Claudia, and Alexandre Rocato, with the 3 of us from FAPESP. And now I'll continue in not any particular order, as I wrote. Okay, so Kwabena from NSF, where are you? Hi. Conrad from AHRC. Hello. Gaia from DLR. Where's Gaia? Oh, hi, Gaia. Manija, of course, from ESRC. Armel from ANR. Hello. Esme from ESRC. Satu from Finland. Hi, Satu. Mawa from SSHRC. Hello. Shemsala from Poland, and I'm so very sorry not to be able to pronounce your name. Dario from Croatia. Anna from DFG. Ladina from Switzerland. Silvana from Colombia. Nombuzo from South Africa. Hi. Matthew from IDRC. And now I'll ask a question I should not ask. Is there anyone else I should have mentioned? And because there are so many wonderful people here, I did not write their names down. Well, I hope not. Oh my God, Ted Hewitt, of course, from SSHRC. But you've already met him in the introduction, right? So when he presented SSHRC. So I'd like now to give an overview of the call, which includes overview of answers to about 60 questions of more, which we received since Monday. And I have been answering most of them. Please keep in mind that all of your answers, our questions, will be answered either during the webinar or after the webinar, but no question will remain unanswered. I'll now share my screen. And just let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So while making this presentation, I will refer frequently to 3 pages. The call page. If you click on the call page, you have here the call documents that have detailed answers to about 60% of the questions asked. It's a long text, but I invite you to read these texts with attention. Second issue is very many questions about funding and funding rules. Please look at the national funder addenda, which are in the call page. And last but not least, how to submit a proposal, which are instructions that are in the call page, including the intention to submit form, which is an online form. Having said this, let me proceed to the RRR, and Professor Mello said that should be a 4th R on research. So it's 4 R's, research on recovery, renewal, and resilience in a post-pandemic world. And the goal of the webinar is to clarify doubts and not answer research questions. This video and the slides will be made available at FAPESP site for all of those who want to read the slides or see the video. And this is the site, the website you should all refer to. The overview, I will take 2 minutes just to present the motivation and themes, and the rest of the time of this webinar will be both my presentation and overview of the most common questions and their answers. And then we are still receiving questions by email to /AP@fapesp.br. Let me write this down here. Sorry.
Professor Claudia, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have the email on YouTube. The people that are watching
thank you. Thank you so much.
Can see the email there. Thank you so much.
Okay, so all questions should be addressed to this mail, and we'll answer them either during or after the webinar. Repeating, no question will remain unanswered. And so the motivation and challenges were mentioned before, and what we want to receive are collaborative proposals involving transatlantic collaboration on SSH research around the world post-COVID-19. Covering 5 main challenges, which are in the call. Some of the questions have asked whether the proposals can cover more than one challenge, and the answer is yes. The overall answers, as you will see, and the most important of all is, please check funder addenda. This covers 40% of the questions we are receiving. A call document describes the evaluation criteria. In doubt, please do send messages to your funders, and the emails are in the call page. For very huge doubts, please email FAPESP. And when you do that, please say which country you were asking on behalf of, or countries. And if you have problems in submitting with our system, email this other mail address. So I'm very sorry to say that most of our answers will be, it's written in our addenda, or the evaluation criteria are stated in the call. So doubt 1, my research concerns such a theme. Do you accept projects involving this theme in the post-COVID world? The answer is, please read the call text. Item 4 is the type of research that can be funded. And how is the evaluation? The evaluation of the scientific merits of the project and compatibility with the call will be left to experts. We cannot answer as to specific themes. How to submit a proposal. So I'll talk a little bit about motivation. This is part of the call. How to compose teams, how to structure a proposal, budget. Lots of questions about budget, and finally, how to submit. Now, very many questions about what is a partnership composition. TAP, as you see, has 16 funders that are funding very many teams from both sides of the Atlantic. Each proposal has what we call national teams, which means a team of researchers from that country, or in case of FAPESP, from the state, where there will be one investigator primary investigator per team, one leader. These leaders will coordinate together the proposal. They coordinate the national teams, but there is one proposal coordinator, one formal proposal coordinator. And the others are the proposal, called the proposal PIs or co-PIs. Each proposal has to have at least 3 teams from 3 different countries, and they must be transatlantic. What they mean by transatlantic, I leave this figure here, but it's from countries that are from one side or the other side and that are funded by the call funders. These are the teams that we can accept. Researchers from other countries that are not financed in the call can also participate, but they will not be funded by the funders of the proposal. So there are doubts about composition of a team. I am not a social science and humanities researcher. Can I be a lead PI? Can I be a co-PI? Can non-social science and humanities researchers participate? The call does not pose constraints. What is important is team balance, whether you are able to answer the main issues of the challenges, and whether you have experience in doing research in those teams. Please remember the call concerns research on social science and humanities, and therefore partnership suitability to the call will be evaluated by reviewers. Who can apply? There goes the mantra, see addenda for funding rules. This is a mantra that, I'm sorry to call it mantra, but this is the best answer to many of the questions. So now let's prepare a proposal. Here you have a national team with the PI of the national team and lots of researchers from that country. The PI is the leader of the national team, and this is what we call a national team. We strongly advise PIs to check the addenda of the corresponding funders and to contact as soon as possible these funders to check eligibility, their eligibility and eligibility of the team. Otherwise, you risk submitting a proposal that will be disqualified because the team is not eligible or because the regional PI is not eligible. And if they are not eligible, if one team is not eligible, the whole proposal will be ignored. So kindly check eligibility with your funders. So some of these doubts I mentioned before. A given country is not listed. Can researchers from this country be in the project? Yes, as participants, but cannot be funded. And this is just for FAPESP, only funds researchers from the São Paulo state. Can the lead PI pay salaries of researchers of other national teams? Can one funder pay expenses of another team? In principle, no. Check funder addenda and contact the corresponding funders. Doubt 6 also, can NGOs participate? Can industries participate? What kind of configuration do you prefer? What kind of country composition do we prefer? Eligibility, funder addenda, and evaluation criteria, partnership and planning. We do not prefer anything. It's up to the expert reviewers to evaluate if the proposal describes an effective and balanced transnational partnership. This is what we prefer. If it's well coordinated, is it likely to extend beyond the funding period? Does the partnership have appropriate plans in place to address collaboration, data management, project planning, and dissemination? These I copied from the call text. There are 5 evaluation criteria that cover all the questions that reviewers will evaluate. And selection will be based on reviewers' recommendations. So, question, how do I structure my proposal? The call has a whole section describing how you should structure your proposal. See call, budget. Lots of questions on budget. I'll show them right now. Additional documents. A funder addenda indicate which documents should be added during submission of the main proposal. And there is a consent form that is directly in our SAGE system. So I'll talk about the budget, and maybe I'll stop to see if there are any questions from the audience. So suppose you have 3 countries, participants from the state of São Paulo. They have to prepare a budget for FAPESP, okay, before submitting the proposal. Participants from Finland have to prepare a budget for AKA. I'm copying documents from the addenda. They are there. This is not new. And then Canada, if you want to submit and ask for money from SSHRC, there is a budget form. So São Paulo, Finland, and SSHRC, Canada, fill in the national team budget requests, okay? And then what do you submit in the full proposal? You add up all the partial requests into the budget summary table, convert everything to euros. And this is the entire table, which is also part of the call site. Download it, fill the columns as you see fit, where each part of this template should contain overall requested funding in euro per whole project as a whole, okay? And at the end, what do you submit? You submit a single document containing the summary, followed by national budgets. Of course, I'm not putting all the forms of each funder because they would not fit a slide, but the final budget to be submitted in the joint proposal is a document containing overall budget and national budgets. How will this be funded? Each funder will fund for projects, for proposals that are accepted according to what was requested, following the funder's norms, which are in the funder addenda. So there is no other answer, and they will fund. So Brazil will fund in Brazilian currency, and SSHRC will fund in Canadian dollars. But according to what was requested and under funding rules for legal financing. So the proposal has 4 documents, total, the full proposal. A research proposal, the budget, and then additional documents as required per funder addenda, such as declaration, such as ethics committees declarations, if applicable. Please keep in mind that if a proposal is accepted, funders may require additional documents. So there are 2 different things everyone has to pay attention to. I'm talking about the overall proposal, but please check the addenda for funder requirements, local requirements. For instance, FAPESP requires us independent submission at the same time the full proposal is submitted. So for FAPESP, submit at the same time, the same proposal. For other funders, submit additional documents in the full proposal and or submit additional documents or other whatever documents as specified in the addenda. Please contact your funders for additional clarification. I think I'll go to the end. So just to finish, to prepare a proposal, remember, set up national teams. So the national teams get together, designate a lead PI. How do you designate a lead PI? Someone, I mean, I have been having questions. How should I choose the lead PI? It's not up to us. The national team should design and write a joint proposal, prepare the national budgets and the consolidated budget as explained, and put together one single document containing additional documents compulsory for submission as demanded by the addenda. And again, please do not forget, contact applicable funders to check the team and the PI eligibility. So the national team, it prepares a local budget and it provides any kind of additional document required by funders to be put together in the full proposal, and also, depending on the funder addenda, to be submitted to funders at some time. Now comes the last part, and I would please ask everyone to pay attention to this. Only the lead PI should do this. 2 things. Fill the intention to submit form by June 14, 2021. Proposals whose lead PI do not submit this form by 14th of June will not be considered. And the second thing the lead PI should do is submit the joint proposal by 12th July. So besides all the things the lead PI has to do, he or she will have to submit the intention to submit form and submit the full proposal. The intention to submit form is at this address on the web, okay? And it asks for details on lead PIs, co-PIs, proposal title, summary, keywords, code challenges that will be covered by the proposal, funders that will be asked to contribute to this funding the proposal, and suggestion of 2 reviewers. Everything in the intention to submit form can change between submission of the intention and submission of the proposal. Oh, we are going to improve the summary. Please do. Oh, we have changed the title. There is no problem. The lead PI cannot change after June 14th. Shows doubts. What cannot change? Only the lead PI cannot change. But we have decided that we would like another lead PI. What do? Before June 14, submit another form. And in case of exceptional conditions, for doubts about that, contact this chamada FAPESP, explaining the situation, including if you have problems with the intention to submit form. The lead PI needs to do three things: intention to submit form, and to submit a proposal has to create an account in our system. To submit a proposal, first you have to create an account. So two very strong, extremely strong recommendations. Please create an account in SAGE, our system, as soon as you know or you suspect or you believe you'll be a lead PI. If you have not yet chosen your lead PIs or you are unsure, PIs, please create an account, because afterwards, only those with accounts can submit a proposal. Creating an account may take between 2 to 4 days, depending on the data you provide. Please see manual on the call page. If you leave this to the week before call submission, you will not be able to submit the call because of possible problems you may face in dealing with our system. And proposal submission, to submit and to click submit, to prepare all that's needed, may take up to 2 days, depending on what kinds of difficulty you face in preparing and submitting documents. So please do not leave this to the last day. So important information, please create an account in SAGE. Problems with our systems at FAPESP, do not email your funders. Email chamada@FAPESP.br. And for questions to funders, email funder contacts list. And now I'll start answering some of the questions. I intend to submit the proposal together with colleagues from Canada and UK. What's the procedure? Do the colleagues have to submit their own application? Can we submit the same application 3 times? Does everybody have to submit? The whole question has just been answered by each funder has its own rules of submission. Please contact funders and see national addenda. There are a few questions of people that did not understand our proposal workflow. If a proposal is evaluated and considered to be a successful proposal that should be funded, and the lead PI receives confirmation, the proposal is not going to be evaluated again as far as scientific merit is concerned by individual funders. Once a proposal is approved by reviewers and funders, and the lead PI receives acceptance message, all you have to do is to read the addenda to see what other documents are needed at the funder's side. Can we have a formal lead PI and formal lead PIs? You decide. If one funder rejects its national team, will the project be rejected? Yes. So please, before applying, check team eligibility. And I have finished the overview of the most common questions, and I hope to have been able to answer most of them. And I'd like to know from Ana Paula questions that have been arriving now via YouTube.
Yes, hi, Claudia. I would like to say that questions have been pouring on our email box, so be prepared.
All of us get prepared, yeah.
Yes.
You realize that I have answered many questions until the beginning, up to the beginning of the event, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first one is from Canada.
Yeah.
And it says, I'm wondering what measures will be taken to prevent bias and discrimination in the review process. Will this be proportional representation considering experiences in Africa, Canada, and the Americas?
The answer is the review process will be conducted by teams of experienced international reviewers suggested by the funders, and all kinds of issues such as you mentioned will be taken into account, because we will only invite experienced international reviewers who can do this kind of evaluation, and I cannot answer more than that. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from United Kingdom. Is it possible to have more than one partner from the same country?
The question is yes, but you see that we have what I call a national team. So you may have, for instance, in the United Kingdom, you may put researchers from 10 universities together, but they will be led by one UK principal investigator as far as that proposal is concerned, okay? I hope I'm not being misunderstood. It's not that only one proposal from the United Kingdom will be accepted. Each proposal can only have one lead PI from each country, not more than that. And the team will organize itself as it wants.
Okay. So next question. Is midnight 14 June BRT the end of the day of 14 June? In other words, in EDT time, which is 1 hour behind BRT, it would be 11 p.m. 14 June?
Oh, this is a good question. I think it's written BRT in the call. Manija,
yeah,
can you confirm
BRT.
that?
Yeah, it's BRT,
yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
I can confirm. It is
Thank
BRT.
you, Marwa. Thank you, Manija.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, it's Brazilian time.
Okay. A question from United Kingdom as well. Is São Paulo the only Brazilian state that receives funding?
Yes.
Okay.
Please keep in mind that it is the team can have Brazilians from many states, but the proposal has to be submitted to FAPESP according to FAPESP rules, which means that researchers from other states cannot be funded And the Brazilian or the São Paulo principal investigator has to follow FAPESP, and the whole team, as a matter of fact, have to follow FAPESP funding rules. Please see FAPESP rules. It's the mantra, okay?
Okay, so a question regarding budget. When we do currency conversion, which exchange rate should we look into?
That should, whatever, we just want to have an idea of the rough numbers, okay? The full budget, it should not be precise to cents or even 10 to 20 to 100 euros. Afterward, because each partner will be funded according to its national requests from their own funders, which means that São Paulo researchers will be funded in reals, according to what they requested. And there may be eventual conversions by the funder, but not by TAP.
All right, so there's a long question here. Conducting a successful research on social issues identified under this call requires an intimate and contextual understanding of the issues beyond a good research design methodology. Considering this, are CSOs excluded from participating in this call? CSOs, civil society organizations.
Can someone help me with answering this specific question?
Anna, repeat the question, please.
Sure.
It concerns partners that are not academic partners, is that it?
Yes, exactly. Civil society organizations are
Okay.
excluded from participation?
No, but you have to look at the funder's addenda, okay? So if there are two different ways they can participate, but for instance, for submission to São Paulo, participation is within a team, and we will consider additional participants, but the civil society cannot submit. Okay, so if participation means, can we involve other non-academic partners? First of all, this has to do with national team composition. So check eligibility. Manija, you want to say something about this?
Claudia, you have already started to
no, go ahead.
So you have already started to point to the right direction. So it's about really checking the national agenda, because each of the participating agencies have their own rules and policies. So I think giving a straightforward answer is really difficult, but it really depends on the national requirements. And therefore, we urge you to check the national agenda and read them carefully with regard to the requirement related to non-academic participation.
Yes, thank you. Next question. Oh, anybody else wants to say something, please let me know, because I cannot see everyone. So you can interrupt anytime you want. That's why we are all here, to help our researchers propose wonderful proposals. Yeah. Anna?
Okay, I'll move to the next one.
Yeah, Pobena, please open your camera so people can see you.
For the last question, I'll say that in addition to reading or looking at your national addenda, also just call your program director to make sure that you are there. Okay.
Exactly. And how to contact the program directors, their emails are in the call page. Okay. Again, I should not say that. Don't leave this to the last minute. This is part of team eligibility. Please, Anna.
Okay, next one. I noticed that IDRC Canada will fund researchers from Bolivia and other countries. Does this mean that if I have a PI based in Bolivia, then this counts towards one of the 3 eligible PIs?
Andrew, sorry, Matthew, would you like to answer?
Sure, I think the short answer is yes, if I understood correctly. That counts towards one of the 3 countries as a minimum for participation.
Thank you. Anna?
Okay. In the experience of TAP, what is the optimum number of collaborating organizations for a TAP program?
TAP has finance proposals that have from 5 to, from what I remember, 6 country teams. The optimal configuration is up to the researchers to set up so as to achieve their goals. The minimum is 3.
Okay. So can you indicate roughly the success rate that you prevail based on past experiences?
Manija, Satu, maybe you can, from my, as far as I recall, around 10%, but I'm not sure. Manija, can you confirm? Oh, your microphone.
Yes, thanks, Claudia. I would say it really depends. So as I presented and during my slides, we launched already 2 calls in 2016 and in 2018. And so the configuration and the success rate really depends how many proposals we received. So the digging into data challenge success rate was a bit different compared to the social innovation. And therefore, I think it's really difficult to provide an exact number, but I think the participating table and on the call specification text, page 2 and 3, indicates the how many proposals can be funded, and then there's a possibility to find out how likely or how high might be the success rate. But I think, again, it's a bit difficult to provide some exact numbers or figures.
Anybody else wants to help? But I think that's a good question. We do not know beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay. Anna.
Okay. I understand that each project needs to consist of at least 3 partners, each from a different country. What is not clear to me is if each national partner has to consist of a team or if individuals can apply. If we need national teams, how many people constitutes the team?
There is no rule for how many people constitute a team. You may have a team of 1 for a specific situation. It's not common, but it really depends what we are going to, what the reviewers are going to evaluate is the ability of the joint teams to do what they say they will do. Okay, so there's no rule on the size of a team. And I do not think, unless I'm mistaken, teams of 1 should be forbidden, though I think it's highly improbable that A proposal submitted by 3 lone researchers, one from each country, will be approved because we are looking for collaborative team participation, not individuals, but teams. But this is not up to us to decide, okay? It's the reviewers and panelists will analyze the teams, their composition, complementarity, and ability to meet the proposal's challenges. Yeah?
All right. Will seniority of the leader PI have an influence on the likelihood of being funded? And is it possible to have 2 leader PIs?
No, it's not possible to have 2 lead PIs. The lead PI will be evaluated together with the teams and the full proposal submission to see whether there is an ability of the lead PI to lead that proposal. Of course, if you think about it, you do not, if you don't have experience in leading proposals, then you should not offer yourself to be a lead PI. However, if everybody accepts you as a lead PI, just show that you are able to lead all the teams. It's not up to us to decide, it's up to the reviewers to analyze the suitability of the teams as to the call conditions. Please see section 13.5 of the call concerning evaluation of team composition.
Okay.
Yes, next.
Next one, Claudia, I know you have answered this, but we keep receiving similar question as this one, so I'd like you to repeat. If one funder rejects the application, is the whole project rejected?
Yes.
Okay. Next one, can formal...
Please keep in mind it's not the
Sorry.
funder. If the funder considers the team is not eligible, the whole proposal is rejected, okay?
Okay.
And then it's not the funder that rejects, it's the reviewers that consider that it's not suitable. Yeah?
Okay. So can formal ethics approval be awarded after winning the funding?
It depends on the funders. Some funders require it before, some funders require it after. Please check the addenda. I'm sorry to say that.
Okay. Does the empirical focus have to be on the Atlantic region? If so, what are the borders of the Atlantic regions? For example, Egypt is in or out?
Can someone else help me answer this? And I think this is also associated with another question that came yesterday about adding, for instance, people from India or case studies in India. So, Kwabena, can you please answer, and whoever?
Yes. We at NSF do not specify that you have to do it within the Atlantic and anything. Science is science, and if the empirical work has to be done in Egypt, so be it. If it has to be in South Africa, has to be in Kenya, so be it. The important thing is that we are looking for very solid science. But the composition of the team should be transatlantic in nature.
Thank you. Is there anyone who'd like to complement this answer from our NSF colleague? No, then we continue. Ana Paula, please.
Okay. Can resources can be used to fund PhD or postdoc positions?
Please check your national addenda.
Okay.
Sorry.
In assessing the proposal, what weight is given to the lead PI seniority? Past experience? Sorry.
Yeah, this has already been answered in a few minutes ago.
Okay. Can master and doctoral students be part of a team?
Yes, but there's a difference between belonging to a team and being funded, okay? Students are welcome because they are the future researchers, but they may not be funded depending on funder rules.
Okay. Is interdisciplinarity a precondition for the proposals?
Can someone help answer this? Is interdisciplinarity a prerequisite? Manija, Manija.
Again, I think it's quite important to read the call for proposals text, and we encourage. We are looking for novel and interdisciplinary proposals, so we encourage explicitly interdisciplinarity. But again, it's an encouragement and not a requirement. So, but again, I think it really depends on the overarching aims of the projects, on the research questions, on the composition of the research team, and we encourage interdisciplinarity. And I think COVID-19 pandemic clearly demonstrated that we need to go to leave our silos, and in order to tackle the societal challenges, there is an urgent need to work in an interdisciplinary and collaborative way. But again, I would say it's not a requirement, but we strongly encourage that.
Thank you. Anybody wants to complement? Anna?
Yes, I
yes,
agree.
I'm sorry.
I agree with what Manija said. We encourage it, but it is not a requirement.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. So you mentioned that each proposal can only have one PI from each represented country.
Yes.
Is it possible to have more than one if one of the two is a lead PI?
No, the lead PI is the national PI of one of the teams.
Okay. Next is specific to Canada. If we have multiple teams in Canada that are funded by different Canadian funders, shall we merge them for the overall budget table or have one column per funder?
Marwa, can you answer that?
Yeah, so you have to...
please turn your camera on so people can see.
Yeah, so you have to submit for SHRC only the budget you requested for SHRC. So for example, if you have another co-applicant or collaborator co-applicant from Quebec, so I think there is someone here for Quebec who can reply to this question for the budget.
And to make it clearer, even though there are two funders, it's just one national team, right?
Yeah.
The same applies to the UK, right? Manija and Conrad. There is per project one team from the UK.
Well, first of all, Mariana, I think no one from FRNQ from Quebec is unfortunately present at the moment.
No, they said they would not be able to come.
Exactly.
So I encourage whoever asked that question to submit it by email to FQRC.
And with regard to EHRC and ESRC question, we explicitly encourage applicants who are UK-based to identify a lead council. So that means if the lead council is ESRC, they need, of course, to include our budget, and if the lead PI is EHRC, then they need to include EHRC's budget. Conrad, do you want to add any additional comments?
That's fine. That's very clear, Manija. Thank you. Yeah, just to say that, yeah, please do make sure that you you do identify which council that you want to apply to.
Thank you. I just wonder whether DFG and DLR want to say something about funding German teams.
Yes, Claudia, this is Gaia from DLR. We decided, we agreed, DFG and DLRPT agreed that proposals can only be addressed to either DFG or DLR. We will not participate in one and the same, we will not be able to fund one and the same proposal.
Anna, do you want to complement this?
Yeah, so this really just applies if you have two parties from Germany within a project, then not one can say, oh, we're interested in funding from DFG and the other one from DLR. So you then have to make a choice as a country, essentially, which one you want to apply to. Is that correct, Gaia?
Yes, yes, it is.
Thank you. I think we have covered with this question, thanks to this question, all the multi-funder per country, I think. Please, someone correct me if I'm mistaken. Next one, Anna.
Okay. The lead PI cannot submit more than one proposal, but can the investigator be part of several teams?
The lead PI and all the PIs can only be part of one proposal. So it's not only the lead PI, it's all the PIs. But of course, if you have a large team, someone in that national team, a participant or a collaborator or a researcher who is not the PI of the team can be the lead PI of another proposal, for instance. But PIs can only be part of one proposal.
Okay, next one. Noting the number of funders, is there an idea of the approximate number of projects that will be funded?
No, this concerns another answer on what we would think would be approval rate. We have no idea.
Okay.
A
question. Oops.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Manija?
if I just may add one important comment here. Of course, we are ambitious because we think that this program will add a very important value in resolving certain COVID-related issues and problems. But again, I think the table with regard to the participating funders again gave an indication related to the available funding and how many projects can be funded. So that would be, as a starting point, I would urge everyone to look at the table as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna.
Yes, a question about time commitment. Is there a lower limit on the number of hours an academic can commit to the project over the 3-year period?
This is subject to funder requirements. Please see funder addenda And also, this may be checked by reviewers who will say, well, in this proposal, all researchers are committed to working for 1 hour a month. It's not acceptable. I mean, I'm exaggerating, right? So, but that's part of funder rules in most cases. Yes.
Okay. Next question is about external cooperation partners. Is there a limit on the number of external cooperation partners?
No, it's up to the project design to define who will most contribute to the success of the proposal and how.
Okay. A question on assessment. To what extent do the national funding bodies assess the content of the proposals?
The national funding bodies will not assess the proposals. It's expert reviewers who will assess the quality according to the 5 criteria that are in the call text. That will be the evaluation of the merits of the proposal. As for the rest, funders will address eligibility, which includes whatever rules they have added in their to their addenda.
Claudia,
Okay.
sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, Claudia, just another comment. I think, again, it's really important to read the call specification. It is clearly described under the section 13.2 on page 13, how the evaluation procedure works step by step. So again, I urge you to read that carefully, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Manija. Yeah, the whole procedure for evaluation is described in the call text. As Manija says, 13, and if it's 13.2, this I don't know by heart, okay? But that's it. Please, Ana Paula.
Okay. The call mentions that the requirement to have at least 3 eligible PIs from at least 3 top participating countries from both sides of the Atlantic. Beyond this minimum, could you please share any comments or reflections of the priorities for geographic balance in the analysis? Will there be a geographic balance in the analysis?
Yes, I think some of these questions I have already answered, okay, by email, but they are valuable questions, and it's important to record them during this call. Evaluation criteria on team composition are part of section 13 of the call. 13.5. I even added this specific paragraph in my slides. The team composition is going to be, and suitability is part of reviewers' evaluation.
Okay. Let's do the next one. The national project submitted to the national funder is the same of the overall project.
Again, it depends on the funder. Some funders do not require a separate submission. FAPESP requires a separate submission, and it is the same project, but different documents. Please check the addenda.
Okay.
Am I becoming too insistent on please check the addenda? I hope not. Anna.
Next one. The interdisciplinarity is only within social sciences and humanities or in all knowledge areas?
This is an SSH call, but other areas are welcome as long as the SSH issues and approaches are the ones that are taken into account. Does someone else want to add to this answer?
Sorry, Claudia, just to add that, of course, each of the funding organization has their specific remit requirements as well. So, for instance, ESRC in the UK or ESRC in the UK, they can fund social sciences and humanities. They will be not in a position to fund, for instance, proposals related to physics or engineering. So, as Claudia clearly emphasized, the call is SSH call, depending, of course, on the research questions and aims and objectives of the project. It is possible, but I just want to re-emphasize that this call is a SSH call, and yeah, we encourage SSH. We want to see SSH related research. Yes.
Yes, but to clarify, Manija, if the whole research team, a national team, it has researchers from other fields, it's up to the team to say which researchers from which fields will be necessary for a successful proposal. I don't think Manija is saying that researchers in physics or mathematics or biology or whatever are forbidden to be part of teams.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes. So by no means. So I really don't want to create some false assumptions here, but thanks for clarifying it.
Yeah. So yes, Conrad.
And just to say that would also apply to the arts section of the AHRC as well. So whilst we are obviously looking for social sciences and humanities projects, there is still capacity for arts projects to be eligible for this.
Okay, thank you. Actually, there was one question from a researcher by email that I received late yesterday. She understood the call had to be a collaboration between researchers in the humanities and the social sciences. So she understood that teams had to have, as a must, researchers from both sides. And that's not it. It's social sciences and humanities research. If it's a proposal from researchers from several fields within social sciences or from several fields within the humanities, it's perfectly acceptable. But it's up to the reviewers to evaluate the scientific merits and suitability to the proposal goals. Anna.
Good. If a funder has already allocated all their budget, will high quality proposals that include a member from that funder be rejected or be allowed to remove the PI?
I did not understand the final part of the question. Or will
be allowed to remove that PI?
No, unfortunately, as in all calls, the funding is limited. And there is no such thing as removing part of a proposal to have it funded. So the evaluation will be as is. The SAP2 or Manija or Anna or anyone want to add to this question? To this answer, I mean. No, so the proposal will be taken as is, and funders will allocate money as much. We try to fund as many high quality proposals as possible, given available overall funds and funds per funder. Yes.
Okay. Will the number of intention to submit proposals be publicized?
No.
Okay.
Also, for one reason, not all intention to submit will result in submissions. And in many cases, as I said, for instance, elite PI changes, the same proposal may submit 3, 4 intentions to submit. The answer is no.
Okay. Do you prefer larger firms or industries to be a partner of a proposal?
No, there is no such preference. If I can say what we as a group of funders prefer, we prefer solid, exciting, new proposals that advance research in the social sciences and humanities along the challenges of the call. It's not the size, it's the quality of the contribution of each partner that counts.
Claudia, just to add on that, so the guiding principle is the scholarly merit, and I just want to reemphasize that. So it's very, very important. Thank you.
Yeah, nevertheless, because I don't know all national addenda, there may be some funder that will require some sort of national team configuration. I have no idea. Maybe some funder here requires large industries to be part of a team, or if some of the funders require as a compulsory item NGOs to be part of a team. If anybody wants to add something to this question, to this answer, please feel free to contribute.
For NSF, private industry is not allowed.
I'm sorry?
We don't allow.
Oh, you don't allow?
Yes.
Okay. In your team?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this shows the importance of checking eligibility, not only of the PIs, but of the teams. Next question, please.
Okay. Travel for research collaborations has not been possible between many countries for almost 14 months. Assuming that there may be further disruptions to travel as we move towards a post-pandemic world, should we include alternative plans for different scenarios?
Yeah, I remember this question, and I said, I'm so sorry. I said it would be answered during the webinar. So thank you for repeating your question. Can someone help me answering this question?
For NSF, we actually require you to give us this alternative we call it pandemic contingency. If you cannot travel, what would you do? In case of, so we require after, you've gotten choosing for an award, we require that you give us that information and we file it.
Thank you. This is actually sound advice to show it's not compulsory, okay? But it's sound advice to show that you have considered. You don't need to write full pages on that. but just to show that you were considering alternative scenarios. Anybody else wants to contribute to this? No, thank you. Anna?
Okay. There is a significant discrepancy across funding amount provided by the countries. Are you not afraid that this may penalize the extent of comparisons that is possible to make across the countries if, for example, in a given consortium, not all the countries will have the same capacity to address the same question?
I think I answered this partially yesterday. This has not, the discrepancies, please keep in mind the discrepancies are not only in the actual value, okay? It's what can be funded by each country. So sometimes when you look at the values of what can be funded by each funder, when you look at actual values, you do not realize that sometimes there is an equivalence in the whole funding scheme. For instance, in Brazil, we cannot fund salaries, but there's the whole staff of universities and academic institutions that contribute to the project. Okay, so this is taken into account at the end, but not in what we fund. I would like, and I think I also answered that this was not an impediment in the other calls, and which had very, very successful submissions with partners from all continents involved. So maybe I would like some of you to further clarify if possible. If you are satisfied with my answer, please, but why not? Anybody has anything else to add? No, I don't think so. So please continue, Anna.
Okay. First, I would like to know whether this call is aligned only with consolidated researchers. Are researchers at the early stage career also eligible?
Oh, well, I was going to say yes, definitely. We do encourage young researchers in the early stages of their careers to participate, okay? Whether these young researchers can or cannot be lead PI is another question, but there is no impediment in actually with the more diverse the composition of research teams, we all know the better the research will be conducted. And the more young researchers the call attracts, the more we can propagate this transatlantic culture of research further on.
Claudia, just to add on that. So again, I would like to point out that the call specification text under the section 3, equity, diversity, and inclusion, explicitly mentioning that offering quality training and mentoring for young researchers, particularly from disadvantaged groups, are very much welcomed. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobena.
I also want to mention that reviewers or panels will review the proposals. They are not reviewing personalities. So if Professor or lead PI X is well known over the world that comes out with a lousy proposal, whereas a young hotshot coming up comes up with a great proposal, well, reviewers are going to pick up the greater proposal, and that ditch the Professor X's proposal because it's not up to snuff, up to standard. So we're looking for solid proposals, not necessarily personalities.
Thank you very much for pointing this out. Okay. Next question.
Okay. If possible, I would like you to express what are your expectations regarding the outputs of the projects submitted to the call?
The expectations is, first of all, that the proposal meets the goals of the call. And the outputs are those that the proposal submits. Okay, I cannot answer more than that. Please check the beginning of the call for what we consider a good proposal, what the proposal should contain, and what is expected in terms of deliverables is in section 4, if I'm not mistaken. The kinds of outputs that and configuration and contents of proposals that we welcome. And if you propose that and you deliver that, we'll be very happy.
Okay.
Yes, Anna?
Next one, can we include non-transatlantic countries in the project?
Can we include, I'm sorry, I did not understand the word.
Non-transatlantic countries.
Yes, you can, but they will not be funded. They can be participants. And when we talk about countries, actually, we're not including countries, right? We're including researchers from these countries.
Yes, maybe I can add here. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So researchers from countries other than TAP call or no academic partner may participate as cooperation partners. So
that's for SSHRC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry if I interrupt you. If I interrupt you, there are two things.
Yeah.
Okay. Can a national team have or have not NGOs, businesses, whatever? Please see a national addendum. Okay. Can a proposal have researchers from Italy or Spain who are not part of our funder coalition? The answer is yes, but they will be participants. Yeah. They cannot be funded by TAP partners. I think it's two levels of questions.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
I'm sorry, Claudia, just to add that this specific question is being dealt with again on the call specification text, which is under the it's page number 4 under 8.4, where we explicitly mentioning that researchers from countries or regions other than TAP partner countries and regions can indeed participate as cooperation partners.
Yeah, that's why I add this this information.
And I just want to add that, yes.
Oh, yeah, because I got mixed up with Maroua's answer. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
No, don't worry. It's we are all human beings, and it has been such a long hours. So
thank you for reassuring me. Yes, Anna.
Next. If the project has been remarked for funding, how much time will be given to the national teams to have to put together the necessary documents for the individual national funding agencies, since the university administrative process can be very slow?
Yeah, okay. Again, please refer to the funders addenda. One thing that you can do is that some of these documents are required prior to submission, and they will be part of the additional documents that have to be submitted through our system. Other documents will be required after the proposal is selected. I would advise everyone to start collecting as many documents as necessary so as not to delay this process. But this has not been an impediment before. Okay, there was just one issue in one of the calls in which the lead PI moved to another country. And then, of course, there were administrative problems. But, and so the whole financing of that project had to go through distinct administrative processing, but that is an exception. Yes.
Okay. Is there any possibility to indicate the co-PIs only in the second phase of the analysis of the proposals?
I think there is, I'm going back to the last question for a minute. The agencies can only fund the national teams after the national teams provide all required documentation. And the project will only be launched after all national teams have been approved. This is the standard. Now, there are two phases, two submission phases. The first one is intention to submit. Okay, this is not evaluated in merit or anything. This is part of our processes to start configuring the evaluation process. What I understand in your question is that you want to submit saying that you'll be the lead PI of, and the intention to submit form. So this is not, intention to submit is not part of the evaluation of the merit. What I understand from the question is that a researcher wants to submit an intention to submit without knowing who the other partners will be. I find this unlikely. You can, for instance, submit an intention to submit with two partners, possible lead PIs, who will be changed, or will the configuration will be changed by full proposal. The lead PI cannot change. I don't know if anybody wants to complement this answer. No.
If I heard it correctly,
yeah,
there could, if I heard the question correctly, there could be another interpretation.
Okay.
That you send the proposal out to the international level. Once it is approved, you come back, and before you submit to your national organization, you put some co-PIs on.
Ah, you mean you change the countries or what?
The composition of the country team after it's been judged okay. I think that's one interpretation of the question.
Okay. But you are not like if a proposal is submitted by the United States, Canada, and France, once it's accepted, you are not adding, say, Finland to the proposal, right? That's not.
No, that's not what I am saying. What I'm saying is, suppose that you have a team from the United States made up of 2 people. The proposal is adjudged, okay, to fund. Before the funding, before submitting the final document to NSF for funding, you add a third person, a third PI, to the American team. That is one way I interpreted the question to be. Is it possible?
It depends on national rules. This is not something we can answer here. I can answer, for instance, for FAPESP. The lead São Paulo PI and the team can afterwards have other people added to participate in the research, okay, without affecting the funding. Alexandre, can a proposal be submitted by someone and then after it's accepted, they change the person submitting?
So you mean not the proponent, right? You mean the team?
The proponent. If it's the proponent, it cannot change, right?
No, only in certain cases, if there's a illness or something that's a terrible thing, then there's a procedure for changing the
PI, the national PI. Okay, yeah. But I'm just answering the São Paulo rules. I cannot answer more than that. Please, please contact the funders as to what they accept in terms of changing the configuration of a national team. Yes, Anna.
Okay. We understand that need for innovation is an essential part of the proposal. But does this require new data collection, or could it also be along other lines?
Again, it depends on the needs of your proposal. And we do not have, overall, there is no such rule that new data cannot be collected. It depends on the proposal. And then the funders' addenda will say whether they can pay for data collection or not. Okay, because it's 2 things. It's a funding for data collection, but it's a need for data collection. And it's up to each funder to decide if their team can be paid for collecting data. Yes, next.
Okay. Would projects focusing on theoretical research be considered?
Yes.
Good.
There is no limitation. Please see section 4 of the call that describes all kinds of project characteristics that can be considered.
Okay, a recurrent question over here. Can you please clarify whether local authorities can participate?
I do not know what you call local authorities. It depends on funder rules. Because when you talk about local authorities, you are talking about team composition. And some funders may say yes, some funders may say no. And some funders, please contact the funders for the configuration of the national teams.
Okay, next one. Must the research study phenomena in the member countries, or is it possible for the country teams to investigate research problems in non-member countries?
Kwabena has already answered that. Can you answer that again, please, Kwabena? About
the answer is very simple. It is not required that the research be conducted in the member country. As it says, for NSF, that's what we do. You need not necessarily conduct the empirical part of the research in the particular country. It can be outside non-member countries. However, we cannot fund anybody from the non-member country.
Yes, but these are our NSF rules.
Yeah.
The question here is, can a proposal be submitted that will study problems in, say, Italy or India, or that are situations COVID related that arise in non-TAP countries? I would like to hear other participants as to the suitability of such a proposal. Yes, Conrad?
Yeah, hi, thank you. Same, AHRC is a similar position to NSF in that it's perfectly fine for researchers to study countries and indeed do some field research in those countries that are not TAP members. But again, they're not, those places are not eligible to receive funding.
Anna.
Yes, it's the same for us. You can go to a different country, you can research matters within a different country, but we cannot fund people who are situated in that country that is not part of the core.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I hope that has been made more clear. There is no restriction to the subject. There are restrictions to funding. Even though we do believe that we do have enough research challenges, if you combine all the 30 countries participating that can be funded in the call, but you're very welcome to investigate problems in other countries. I should not say you are very welcome. You can do that. Yes, Manija.
Claudia, just to add on that, again, I would urge applicants to attach the specific questions also with the objectives of the call and read the section on the objectives of the call, and then relate that also, of course, to the evaluation criteria, which is also quite important to get the bigger picture. Just to add or to emphasize that point as well. But I fully agree with my colleagues Anna and Conrad, the way how they pointed this out is also quite important. Thank you.
We are approaching 4 minutes to end of this webinar, and now I propose the following. We leave all other questions that remain to be answered by email. We will answer them, all of us. And I'd like to invite all of the funders who are present here, whether they want to add specific comments, overall comments, recommendations. in particular, Rocato, you want to say
something? I may have something to say about researchers from the São Paulo state. Just to notice that if one of the researchers from a group is also a lead PI, he has to submit twice at the FAPESP online platform besides. One as the lead PI with all the procedures that Professor Claudio has indicated here, and also as a proponent of FAPESP regular way of submitting proposals. It is clearly stated in our guideline, but we are available to answer questions about that.
Oh, thank you very much. Anybody else?
I will say, I thank you all for listening. I know that you do have a lot more questions, but I just want to let you know that I am available to answer your questions. Send me an email and we'll do the best we can to answer all your questions. Thank you.
And also on behalf of the Transatlantic platform, I just want to say thank you to all participants today. And of course, a particular thank goes to Claudia and to our FAPESP colleagues for organizing such a fantastic event so smoothly. So thanks again. And I just want to reemphasize, please get in touch if you have any questions, if you need additional support. Our contact details are available on the website. So please ask before the submission, please ask your questions and seek clarification. So that's really, really important. And good luck, of course, good luck with your application. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Manija. Nambuzo wants to speak from South Africa. Hi.
Hi, thank you, Claudia. I just wanted to say to the South African-based researchers that if they can go through the addendum, we are available to address their questions, especially on the national regulations. So it will appreciate if they go through the addendum and then direct their questions to us. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? So to finish, I'll just ask for everybody's patience. I'll share my screen again to remind everyone of what we have been talking about. We have been talking about the intention to submit form, which is here. And it's pointed at the call page. We have been talking of the proposal call, which is here, okay? And this is all, I'm sorry, in the call web page, in which if you click here, you have the call document in English, in French, and the budget table. Here you have the information on how to create an account and how to submit proposals. Please do create accounts in our SAGE system as soon as possible, lead PIs. And the intention to submit leads you to the call intention to submit. Finally, addenda. These are the famous addenda we have been talking about. Addendum and doubts, contact Alexandre Rocato. Canada, you contact Patricia and Laurent, who could not be here today. IDRC, you contact Matthew, who was here. Colombia, you contact Silvana, who's here. Croatia, you contact Dario, who's here. Finland, you contact Satu, who's here. ANR, you contact Ahmed. When I'm saying here, it's our room. You saw their faces. DLR, Gaia, who is here. DFG, Anna, or Nicholas, or Sigrid, and Anna was here. NCN, you contact Przemysław, who was here, or Michal. NRF, you contact Nombuzo, who just spoke. Swiss National Foundation, Ladina was here, but you contact Timothy. AHRC, you contact Conrad or Elise or Manija. And NSF, you contact Kwabena. So these, when we say contact your funders, you've seen their faces, you know who to go to, and you know where the addenda are. In particular, this email here for problems with the submission system and the intention to submit form. That's one here. And now I'll stop sharing. And I thank very much all of you who are listening to this webinar. My great thanks to all the funders who have come here to answer to your questions. And my special thanks to the FAPESP staff. Anna, who has been sending us the messages, and Vera, and Roberta, and Gabriela, and Nelechi, and Fernanda, all of who have been here providing support. This video will be online, as well as the slides. So I will thank you all for your presence. And now I'm going to turn my microphone and video off, and I ask the funders, that's the end, to stay in our room so we can say goodbye to each other.